Now, what are you going to take away from this webinar? Some good teaching / learning practices. These are practices which we as a trainer need to implement, and you as learners need to implement them as well. These are some good teaching and learning practices that you should take away from this session. The first is maximize learning opportunities. How is this done? Through activities. When you design any course material, when we design any course material or when we teach, we find out gaps and we include activities so that you actively participate in it. Your active participation helps you learn that language, because active participation is the key to learning any quality, any thing that you want to learn. So language is one among them. Facilitate negotiated interaction. Now I already told you, I might be more knowledgeable than you if English language is concerned, but then there are things which you know better than me. We all are here in this world with different knowledges. Different people know different things. So when I interact people in a class, we open the room for discussion of new knowledge, new ideas, new concepts. So someone who has an expertise in one thing can actually teach me that thing. And in teaching me that thing, he can use language. In that way, he is learning language and I'm learning a new activity. I'm learning a new skill. The third is minimize perceptual mismatches. So India is a country which has been endowed with this mismatches. When we were training at the British Council, we had teachers who got their trainings and who actually taught elsewhere in all around the world. So they used to tell me that India is a country where people already have this thing that, okay, he is a teacher, he's a person of respect, never ask him anything. Listen to whatever he says. Don't speak much in classroom. Let him speak. You speak less. So these are all the mismatches that we need to curb and curtail. This is not something that is going to help language learners. Maybe that can help you in mathematics, but this will not help you in language, because language is all about speaking and listening. Unless you speak, how will you learn? Right? Activate intuitive heuristics. Now, this is also an important thing. Always present language with data. The more data a learner receives, the more better he is able to understand the pattern. So we were all talking about teaching grammar and all those things. This is how it is taught. I give you patterns. I give you situations. Grammar comes from therein. Because consciously teaching grammar will be more or less teaching like teaching mathematics, teaching rules. But if you are able to teach them something, if they get it from within themselves, that will be an achievement for both the trainer and the learner. Foster language awareness. Now this is also a very important thing. I know Hindi, you know English. These are two different languages with some common rules, but some different rules as well. Why don't we learn each other's language and then have a comparative analysis of our own languages? Right? Contextualize linguistic input. We all need to put language into different context. So you are at an airport and this is a situation. Their language is really used in a context. You have learned all the grammar of English, but when you are in an airport, you don't know what to speak, whom to ask, what to ask. How will that help you? So learning a language in a particular context is always very important and perhaps the most important thing. I need to give you a context to learn that language. Let's continue this. Integrate language skills. There is no boundary between speaking, listening, reading, writing. All come hand in hand. So instead of teaching just one skill, integrate all the four into some common activity. Let there be activity that demands both listening, speaking, reading, writing, all. That incorporates all. So this is the way how you can integrate your language skills. Promote learner autonomy. Let learners learn at their own pace. We are not here to create a competitive environment. Okay, he is the person who is performing well, he is not performing. No, everybody has their own pace of learning, and you as a facilitator need to improvise on that. This is what we generally do. This is what we actually should do. Different learners are different pace. Let them learn at their own pace and facilitate them, not teach them, just facilitate them. Raise cultural consciousness. Every language comes with a culture. Teaching the language along with the culture makes it interesting, because every language has got a deep embedded culture in it. And when I teach you that culture, you become more interested. What are the festivals that the Britishers celebrate? How is the social scenario there in Britain? How are Britishers different from Americans? How do Americans speak differently? Or what is the word which is considered derogatory in their language, but it is okay in other languages? Ensure social relevance. We should all ensure that whatever you are teaching or whatever you are learning is socially relevant. Don't learn anything. Learn something socially. Try interacting with people. This is what the entire motive is. Give you the environment. Facilitators don't teach you. They provide you with the environment and with that social relevance, and that you understand it. So these were the points that were raised by Karuna Vaidalu in 1994. He gave these points that these are the ways, some good teaching practices that one can inculcate, because there is no one good method, because there is no such thing as the best way of teaching language, or there is no approach which is supreme to other approaches. So these are some of the practices which, if a trainer or a learner incorporates within himself or herself, they will be able to speak or listen better in that language. Thank you for your patience.